Hey, what's going on, folks? Josh here, along with Boz. We're kicking this thing off with a 2025 edition of Boxing Chit. This is the first one, as a matter of fact. We've all brought in this new year. So, Happy New Year to everyone who is listening here in attendance, all of that stuff. But, of course, Happy New Year to yourself as well, Boz. How's it going with you?
Thank, thank you, and likewise. Yeah, it's been pretty dull to be honest. Apart from that car we had on the 21st now in Riyadh, even though that one wasn't so well full of exciting fights, but still, yeah, December hasn't been that great for when it comes to boxing, but otherwise. Also, I have kind of been kind of bored and yeah, not
Oh,
much to
yeah.
say really.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was
Mm.
one of those things. We're waiting on things to heat up, and I think it is going to happen here. We're gonna get some heat coming up in the early part of 2025. We have some very good cards, and one of them in
Yeah,
particular could go down as the card of the year. Just here, name and face value at least. So we're gonna dive into some of those matchups that are coming up. Shout out to Mr. Paz. Appreciate you there, Mr. Paz. The first to drop in, show some love. Hey, good to have you
yeah,
here, buddy. As
yeah.
always, sharing your insight and all things tied to it. We're here to talk some 2025 boxing, baby. And hey, why not start with a fight that is coming up next week, there, Boz, or this coming week here? And
In
that
3 days.
is an IBF cruiserweight title fight that will be taking place, as I understand it, I believe it's going to be in Australia, where you're going to have Jay Opataya taking on David Inyika or Inyika. I think it's Inyika
Yeah,
pronounced.
I'm not sure myself how you pronounce
Yeah,
that.
and I think it's Inyika. So this is
Yeah,
both of them
unique.
are from down in that area. Essentially, I think both
Yeah,
are from New Zealand, as a matter of fact. Kiwis.
or
Yeah.
well, I think Opetaya. Well, he's kind of half Samoan or something, I
Okay.
think, but he's
Okay.
from, I mean, based in Australia, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So all in that general area, then, and we're getting a
Yeah,
matchup. It's going to be taking place there. As a matter of fact, it's going to be in Broad Beach, Australia. As a matter of fact, Broad Beach at the Gold Coast
right. So
Convention
it's
Center, and
yeah,
the IBF
Opetayas.
World Cruiserweight title is on the line, which of course Jay Opataya holds. Now for Inyika, this is a major step up fight for him by comparison to
Yeah,
what he's done in his career as a pro right now. But he's a big guy. He's going to be bigger than Jay
yeah,
Apataya when you see him in there in the ring. So that should make things interesting. Want to get your thoughts on that, Boz? It's an interesting matchup.
yeah. Yeah, he's a huge cruiserweight. That guy, Nika, 6'6", if I'm not mistaken. That's
Mhm.
what it says anyway. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he doesn't have many fights, 10 fights, but mostly by knockout. So he can punch, obviously, that guy. So he's gonna be some kind of threat anyway, or a challenge. Expect to Opetaya, even though, of course, I do strongly favor Opetaya to win that fight, and probably even by a knockout. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, you never know. Of course, there always can be an upset. So we have seen quite a lot of upsets in the last few years. But yeah,
Oh
of
yeah.
course my money to put it that way is on Opetaya because he's been really nothing but outstanding and so far, and also has quite a few more fights, 26. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's also an important factor. Yeah, and
Yeah.
hello to Christopher. I haven't seen you for a while, buddy. Hello.
Oh yeah, cheers there, Christopher. Thanks for dropping by as well. Says 86 and Boz Dragon, what's happening, lads? Hey, good to have you here, Christopher. Always great chatting as well. Thank you for
Mm,
dropping by. But yeah, I'm with you there, Boz. Very interesting matchup, of course. And I wondered when it was initially announced, was it kind of early for Yanika? And
yeah,
maybe not. He's 29 years old. He has
Yeah,
10 fights,
what?
9
No,
stoppages. So
yeah, I
yeah.
forgot to say that. Yeah, he's 29, even though he's only got 10 fights, so he
So
started
yeah.
kind of late. Yeah, as a pro.
As I would say, if you are 10 fights in and you started your pro career late and you're getting a title shot in your 11th contest, that's not bad right there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, of course not. I mean, I believe Evander Holyfield won his first world title in his 12th fight or something,
Okay.
13th. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
So,
it. Something. So we'll see how he does. You know, I've seen him a couple of times, and I mean, he's been able to handle the opponents I saw him in there with. So
yeah,
that makes it interesting. But of course, Jay Opataya is a different level than the opponents he's faced, and I think that Opataya is the best cruiserweight in the world right now, and I don't think he will back down or he will view Inyika as maybe his biggest threat compared to some of the other people he's been in with, you know. And I think with
yeah,
Inyika, also he's a big guy that is a big target as well. I think Opatayo will move a lot better than him there in the ring, and we'll see how
yeah,
it translates. So when he's landing, and I don't think we've been able to see, or at least I haven't seen, where Inyika has taken a huge punch or been put in a situation where he had to overcome that level of adversity from being hurt. So
yeah.
that can make some things very
No,
worthwhile.
like his two biggest names so far are, I think both are former light heavyweights, actually. Tommy Carpensy and Robert Barrage, who I know from because he fought that guy from South Africa, Osthuizen, whatever you
Okay.
pronounce. So that's where I recognize that name. I think he may have also fought. What was this guy? Elader Alvarez. I'm not sure, but maybe, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
those are his two best wins so far for Nika, and both are former light heavyweights. So it doesn't really say much, And both have
Yeah.
were past their best, of course, at that time.
Oh yeah.
And
It's actually Tommy Carpinci.
yeah,
Probably one you're thinking about, one of the ones he faced there. I don't see Ella there. Tommy Carpinci, and that was in his last fight, which was
yeah.
short work
He,
overall. So yeah,
I think
definitely
he
is.
also fought. Didn't he fight Kovalev? I believe he did actually.
Let me see here.
Carpens. Yeah,
Hmm.
probably. And
Are you talking about
Kovalev.
Inika?
Yeah.
Let me see. I
No,
see
I
here.
mean Carpensky.
Oh, Carpinci. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He did. He did. He'd been in there with a lot of decent names
Yeah,
there, heavy at like heavyweight.
yeah,
Okay, you're talking Carpinci. Yeah, pretty much. He's fought some of the who's who over or in cruiserweight rather over the course of the last 5-10 years or whatever. So yeah, he
mm,
definitely had the pedigree and the resume going into that Inyika fight. But
yeah,
yeah, like you said, he has passed it. I was surprised as well when I saw that's who he was taking on, only because, as you mentioned, Tommy Carpinci, yeah, he was at a lower weight previously, and that cruiserweight move against a guy like that, yeah, major size advantage right there, and he wasn't able to overcome it. But maybe if he was younger, who knows? But he has a lot of tread on those tires, Carpinci, that is. So that
mm,
makes it interesting. Uh,
yeah. He's
Also, Mr. Pads mentions Terramona also fights on that Opataya card, I think. Look out for that guy. Pretty good heavyweight out of Australia. Recently signed with Matchroom and Box Jalolov in this recent Olympics. Oh, interesting.
oh.
Okay, I had
I
to check
also
him out.
saw that Justice Hooney is fighting also on the undercard
Oh yeah,
against some South African pot Geeter or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So Justice Hooning, yeah, he's another one on the come up. So they have some
yeah,
guys who are at this top end, at least weight wise, who could end up
yeah,
making a lot of noise here over the next couple of years. And hey, I'm all for it. They seem to have found that sort of niche
Yeah,
from down in that area, and you can see that boxing is thriving there. We're getting a lot of top level boxers, elite boxers, I guess you could say, coming out of Australia, New Zealand, that area.
mm,
And I think that just adds to the overall pitch fever for boxing in itself. Sign me up for it. Definitely
yeah.
down for it. But yeah,
And
as
just
mentioned, that will be an IBF title shot. So going down in Australia, IBF World Cruiserweight title shot. So big
yeah,
time.
I'm just thinking because Australia or New Zealand never had really. They had several heavyweight contenders, but none of them really made it big. I mean, probably the
Yeah.
most successful one was David Tua.
Oh
He
yeah.
even he never won a world title, but that's probably because he had to fight Lennox Lewis and
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah. So
Yeah, that made it tough right
Chris
there for sure.
Chris Bird, yeah, I know he also lost to Chris Bird. Yeah, he
Yep.
did. Mm.
Yeah, and Chris
So
Bird was a handful technically. I mean, yeah,
yeah, he
like a
just
box.
too fast. Yeah, too good. Yeah,
Yeah,
technician. So
certainly. So hey, we're seeing this flame rekindled somewhat, and I'm interested in seeing who comes out on top here. Now, if Nico is the win, that's a major upset, I guess you can say, and would change the
mm.
landscape of the cruiserweight division for sure. Put us back in that footing where okay, it may be a little bit wide open now, and
Yeah,
we'll see.
it's true. I mean, I believe he's of Maori descent, isn't he? I believe so. So
Hmm.
if he won now, he would become the first world champion of
Oh
Maori
yeah,
descent,
yeah,
actually. So
yeah.
that would
No,
be also big, yeah, historically.
yeah, that would be big time. Yeah, I know of some guys in history from down in that area, whether they're
Yeah,
Maori. The one Maori fighter I know for sure, of course, is Herbert Slade, who did
yeah.
fight John L. Sullivan and lost, who was handled fairly easily. But yeah, I know there have been some other good fighters from down there. But yeah, as far as winning
Also,
that
yeah,
world title, yeah.
you had Kelly Meehan, who actually was, I believe, for part Fijian descent. So yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of similar, kind of yeah. I mean,
oh yeah.
ethnically similar to Maoris, and yeah,
Oh yeah, 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 certainly. And real quick, shout out to Jesus M says happy 2025. Happy 2025 to you as well, Jesus. Shout out to Adam
thank
Hurley as well, who dropped by. Adam says, how about Opataya? And also says, I want to see Usyk versus
you. He's
Opataya
there.
after this. Very interesting one right there. Haven't heard that one thrown out there, but
Yeah,
that would be very interesting.
yeah. Why not? I mean, it could either happen at heavyweight. I mean, even Usyk
Yeah,
has been talking of maybe moving down again to cruiserweight. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
Because yeah, he will have to fight guys. I mean, if he stayed at heavyweight, I guess he thinks now at his age it would be hard to stay unbeaten there, and yeah, probably yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'd imagine so. Yeah, Opataya moving up to heavyweight. I'd imagine. Hey, that would be
maybe
jumping
yeah,
straight into the top dog. And yeah, I don't know if
yeah,
well, there's a line there at heavyweight, or there has been, but seemingly anyone can jump in the mix. There are a lot of guys up there at the top level who you feel that on any given night at heavyweight could upset the apple cart. But Usyk seems to be the cream of the crop right now. And yeah, that would
mm,
be a tall task for Opataya, especially in the first fight at heavyweight
yeah,
with Usyk now fully acclimated to heavyweight. And as you mentioned,
yeah,
him talking of coming down, I wonder how that would look. If it would do him more detriment than anything, considering his age.
yeah. I think so, of course, and. But the thing for Petaya, there aren't really many big names in the cruiserweight right now, and the only other one I think is Zurdo. So you will have
Oh
to
yeah,
fight him also
oh
if
yeah,
you
that's a
want
fight I
to.
want to see for sure. And
Yeah,
I do want to see that one, Opataya versus Zerto, or whomever comes out victorious in this matchup versus Zerto. I think it will
yeah,
be a good action fight.
yeah. Other than that, of course, you got Chris Billon Smith who just lost to Zurdo, and well, maybe
Oh
Richard
yeah,
Riakporhe, but he's kind of looked poor as we know against Billon Smith, and
yeah,
yeah, so he
yeah,
would
yeah.
have to win couple of fights probably first to get a fight like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
prove
certainly,
his
yeah.
worth.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah, and and some of those names you just threw out there. So I think that kind of, or those names would be some that would be in the mix for even the loser of this contest. Say
Yeah,
Opetayo wins for David and Yika. That doesn't mean it has to be the end of the road. There's still some top level cruiserweight names that he could take on and probably put himself right back in the mix at some point down the road.
yeah. Well,
Um,
hopefully. I mean, but Opeta is still young. He's 29, so if he once
yeah,
he does fight Zurdo and maybe Willem Smith, let's say, and if he beats them both, then there's pretty much not much left anyway to do for him in the cruiserweight division. So that's
yeah,
when he will have to move up. I would say probably,
yeah.
probably.
Yeah, maybe the Bridgerweight waters.
Yeah, maybe fight Okoli, guys like
Yeah,
that.
and that's one that we felt we would have been cool seeing at one point. Though yeah, it certainly isn't going to happen at cruiserweight. But Bacoli, hey, he's
Yeah,
looked
it's a
good in his
pity.
move up.
It's a pity that that division really just becomes strong, like in the
Yeah.
by the second, or I mean last decade before this one. It
Oh
had
yeah.
become strong because you had Usyk and guys like Gassiev and
Mm-hmm.
what's the name, Dorticos, and all those guys, really exciting fighters, really good. But now they have all either retired or went up to heavyweights since
Yeah.
then. So
Yeah, yeah. So the dynamic has changed. So hey, we had
yeah,
this prop here. We'll see what pans out, and if some of these guys are able to kind of build out the division once again.
mm,
With some of the transition that has taken place. So good
yeah,
stuff for sure. I wanted to segue to Mr. Paz. He had a question said Josh and Boz. There's a rumor that shout out to Skywalker Boxing Media, as a matter of fact, who dropped by. Be sure to check him out.
oh
Skywalker
yeah,
Boxing Media. Salute to you. Appreciate you dropping by, but good
absolutely.
content on the page there. So be sure to check them out, folks. So Mr. Paz says Josh and Boz, there's a rumor that the leading candidate to face Devin Haney next is Tevin Farmer around the end of March. Not sure what to think about that. Yeah, interesting thoughts there, Boz.
That's pretty. I mean, surprising. Yeah, for sure. Even though Farmer did look good in his last fight, but yeah, I don't know really. Against Barrios, was it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or
Or no,
yeah,
no, not Barrios. It was
no, not Barrios. He's a welterweight. It was another guy. I think a Mexican, wasn't he?
I think it
Zepeda,
was
maybe.
William Zapata. He
Yeah,
looked good
yeah,
against.
William. That's right. Yeah, 140. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
So yeah, that makes it interesting. Yeah. Hey, I thought Farmer might have been done. Given the time period he was out there in terms of
Yeah.
not being able to get any major fights for a good little period there. And I thought heading into that contest with Zapata that he was probably going to get stopped, but he proved me far wrong. I imagine some others as well. So he's still around, and we knew he was technical. He had some skills to him, all that stuff, and maybe maybe he's sort of in that second surge of his career where that time off may have done him some good, lessen some wear and
Yeah.
tear or something of that nature. Because you're right,
It was
I had heard that he looked. I still have to see it, but I heard he looked pretty darn good against William Zapata, and hey, you never
yeah.
know.
He fought smart there for sure. I mean, counter punching was really great. I mean, sharp,
Oh
looked
yeah,
sharp.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was a good one, definitely.
yeah.
Even though it was
So
a little one-sided, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was good stuff there. Adam says he actually thought that in the 5 rounds it lasted, that Bacoli versus Anderson was the fight of the year. If the low
Well,
key
I don't
great
know.
fight. It was a good fight.
I wouldn't say fight of the year, but yeah, it was a good fight. Good scrap, anyway.
Yeah, Adam says he believes Bacoli is the best heavyweight out there. Hey, he may prove that here at some point if he gets the right people in the ring with him.
Yeah, he's
Is it?
definitely a candidate for that title, but we'll see. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
mm,
I agree.
I mean,
So we'll see.
yeah. Right
Uh,
now, I mean, if Dubois is between him and Dubois and a couple other guys, of course, and we'll see
yeah,
anyway. Parker where he is when he fights Dubois now. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. That is true. That is true. We'll
Mm.
definitely find out. So time will certainly tell. And to that Mr. Patch question there about Haney versus Farmer, I think that it will be a tough fight for Farmer. I think Haney's size might come into play. We know they're both technically sound, so Haney he'll be able to, I think, hang in there from a technical standpoint and do what he needs to do, and then it will come
Right.
down to
I
that
was about to
size.
say, yeah,
Was that?
I was about to say, didn't Farmer fight at 130 before?
I believe he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he
think
had a
he
world.
was fighting there. I remember him fighting Joan O'Carroll, um, and
I
some
believe he
others.
also had a world title fight, didn't he? At that weight, I
Yeah,
think so.
he lost to JoJo Diaz. I think
All
that's what
right.
upset it. He may have had a title when he lost to Diaz,
Yes.
or a title was on the line.
2020.
Okay,
He was actually the champion, the defending champion. Wow.
okay, yeah, defending champion. So that was 130, right?
Yeah, that was pretty long. He was actually champion. I didn't know this.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, he was with Matchroom Boxing at the time too. And then after that, it seemed that he was out for a little period, somewhere in that nature,
Right.
and and I think that kind of stifled his momentum somewhat. But he's popped back up out there. But like I said,
Mm.
I think that yeah, if he were to fight Haney, and that's what Mr. Paz mentioned that he saw was being rumored, interesting fight for sure. I definitely lean Devin Haney, and I think with all things considered, I just think the size, the youth factor, and athleticism of Devin Haney would probably see him to victory. I don't know if he stops him, but that being said, I think Haney can beat Tevin Farmer for sure.
He
So
should. He's yeah. He should. Like that's the thing. He is expected to beat him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's expected that you mentioned that. Good thing. Edis, hey, what's going on, Fernandez? Here he goes. Appreciate you dropping here. He says, ready for boobies, Bidez. First loss to David, bad guard Morel. I still got Morel saluting Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, buddy. There's
New
big
Year.
shout out. Appreciate you dropping by, of course, per usual. And so you're mentioning David Morrell, David Benavidez. So that is going to be a very good fight right there, at least on paper. It seems to be an interesting style clash in terms of that aggressiveness and power of David Benavidez, more so him being able to just kind of beat you down through attrition as well, versus Morrell, who, man, at times it just looks like he has the absolute total package, just good to great at almost everything, just by today's standards at least. And
Yeah.
that make for interesting contest when the two are in front of each other here when they face off. So I am looking forward to that one. But Edith says that he thinks that Morel will get the victory there. Now I've leaned towards David Benavidez eventually getting to him there, Boz. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, his Morel in Morel's first fight there, he beat a guy who was definitely good and solid, but still, Benavides has still a better victory there. I mean, against Wozniak, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
who is I would say still at least a little better fighter than Kalajic, who
yeah,
Morel beat. And Kalajic did give Morel some tough rounds. Definitely he won a few rounds, and so but still Morel looked good, definitely in that fight. But I don't know really how he will adapt to this new weight class. But I don't
yeah,
know really. Benavides is definitely the more aggressive of the two, and as
yeah,
for punching power, I don't know. It's probably probably equal, more or less. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying for sure there. And real quick, shout out to Richard Sanchez. Appreciate you dropping by there. Richard says, Happy New Year, Big Things 86 Boxing in 25. I appreciate you, my man, there. Always great to have you drop by. Yeah, we're keeping it coming. Going to talk a lot of boxing history. That's still going down for sure. But yeah, there, Boz, what you're mentioning. One thing I will say, and I think we've talked to, like with Morrell and him taking on Kalajic, I think those that probably weren't familiar with Kalajic might have thought he was just going to be an easy walkover, but Kalajic, yeah, he's a little better than what may meet the eye, especially if you don't know the name.
Yeah,
Of course, you probably can't pronounce it. You may not have seen him, but I
yeah,
thought that he was working well behind his jab, and Morrell, he couldn't do to him what he was able to do to some of his previous opponents, and overwhelming them with his athleticism and like speed power combination. But I thought Kalajic, hey, he fought the right fight, and it ended up going the distance. And many people said Morrell didn't look too good, but I think a lot of that had to do with the opponent he was in there with. This was a little
yeah,
bit of a step up, more so compared to some of the others he'd faced, I would say. But he did face this one fighter who I thought was pretty good. I think he was Eastern European, may have been Ukraine, Kazakhstan, or Uzbekistan, the fighter where he was really just kind of laying into him, and he ended up going to the hospital in aftermath. I forget his name, but
all right. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
in
but
the Kazakhstan, yeah,
yeah, maybe
Yerbosinu.
a Kazakh fighter, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I
that
think
was,
Benavidez, yeah, he's going to be a handful for Morrell in terms of course, this is the first fight for both of them at one, or the second fight for both of them at 175. It's a matchup we wanted to see at 168, and that pressure that Benavidez applies, I mean, he could use that to kind of nullify some of the strengths of Morrell. Of course, putting it in action there in the ring, that will be his job. It'd be up to him to do so. But I think when you factor in kind of how Benavidez goes about breaking down fighters, that could be some trouble there for Morrell. Don't know if he stops Morrell, but I think Benavidez does have enough to sort of take him down a notch. I got you to say.
yeah, he should be. Yeah, as I said, he beat the better opponent of those. Gvozdik, who is also, it was a WBC interim fight.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, Gvozdik isn't, to be fair, what he used to be. Definitely, he's not past. He's
yeah,
past his prime. He's not in his prime anymore. But still, he's a kind of tall and good technical boxer and all that. So
yeah. And he
yeah,
had been
he's
looking good in his return,
yeah,
and I think
yeah,
some of
that's
that
true.
time off refreshed him somewhat.
Yeah, but when you get destroyed by a better BM like he did, it's hard
Yeah,
to get back to reclaim your fire and all that.
yeah. And at the time, that was his only loss right there to Arthur
Yeah,
Beterbiev. And look, of course, anyone who's been in with Better Biev, of course, that's aged pretty well because he's the top dog right now. And we'll get to see what he does in a fight that we'll be talking about for sure as well. Salute to Rasclot. Says, salute
really,
Bonds and Josh. Appreciate you there, Rasclot 2025. Be sure to check him out, folks,
that's,
when he goes live on this channel. So go ahead and give him a
oh,
subscribe, subscribe,
I
whatever. As a matter
gotta
of
do
fact,
that.
like and
Yeah, I
subscribe
need
us
to.
here. Boz's channel is connected. Boz's Boxing. Drop by that. Give him a subscribe because hey, more content will be coming there for sure, and you are appreciated.
Because I
Uh,
need it.
yeah, Rasclot says that both didn't look too great at 175, but Morrell fought the lesser opponent and didn't look too impressive. I'm picking Benavidez. Got you there, Rasclot. Got you there for sure. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I can certainly agree with it. I would and I think that's partly why I'm leaning towards Benavidez. Now, can Morrell win? Most certainly. Most certainly. This is not to sleep or slight Morrell. These are just two very good fighters. Hey, they're just gonna be hey, someone has to take the L, you know what I'm saying? Unless we end up with a draw, which may not be out of the question as well. We'll see. Adam says go Benavidez. Yeah, yeah. So hey, we have. I think this is going to be one of those ones. And what I like about it for the fans is I think it's going to be probably 50-50 or close to 50-50 across the board when you ask individual fans, etc., their thoughts on Morel versus Benavidez, because some people I've seen gone with Morel that make some pretty strong cases, just as some of us go with Benavidez. So I think those are the type of matchups we need, and we're thankfully getting in the sport right there, those 50-50 matchups.
Yeah, that's really what we need. Definitely.
Yeah, tracking there, Rasclot, definitely tracking there. Yeah, interesting one. So let me see here. So again, thank you for joining Boxing Chit. Those that are just getting in, we appreciate you. Yeah, we're talking about 2025 boxing, and so another fight I wanted to mention that is going to be coming up, and I guess you could say fairly short order, is going to be on February 24th. That's Naoya Inoue versus Sam Goodman, and every title there in the junior featherweight division is on the line. Oh, well, no, not the WBA. So almost every title is on the line. Who has a WBA? Is that Akhmadaliev? Maybe he has it or something like that. But it's the
Yeah.
WBA
So
junior
yeah,
featherweight championship.
World John. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so that's the one that's missing. But all the other junior featherweight belts will be on the line when Inoue takes Sam Goodman. And I think it's an interesting matchup. Probably the bulk of people in the odds makers are going to lean Inoue. It is going down in Japan. So Sam Goodman is going to be traveling there. And Goodman, I think he has around 14, 15 fights, maybe somewhere in that range, and he has looked pretty good. I really like that win he was able to gain over Raheem Ali. Raheem Ali. What is his name? I think it's
yeah. Uh,
Raheem or something like that.
Raiz Alim. Yeah.
Yeah, Raiz Alim. Yeah, Raiz Alim. Thank you there, Boz. So I like that win because I felt that Alim was a very, very solid fighter, could box well. Goodman was able to gain the victory over him, and that went down in Australia. And that's probably his best win right there. He seems tough in game, but in a way, we know is top 2 or 3 pound for pound right now. So we'll see what Goodman is able to do. I don't know if you've been able to check him out there, Boz. What your thoughts are on this potential matchup in a way, or not potential matchup, a matchup that is going to happen in a way
Yeah.
versus Goodman.
I'm not really familiar with Sam Goodman, so this was a surprise for me that he's fighting, but he must have done something to deserve it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, and he was one of the ones in line there at 122
All right.
pounds. Now that being said, I did want to see Inoue versus Akhmadaliev. That one hasn't materialized as of yet, and I do think that as far as who I would say matches up a little bit better. I think skill wise and all of that stuff could get the job done. I feel like MJ would be a big threat, but I do like the gameness of Sam Goodman from what I've seen from him. I feel like he's not the type that is going to back down, and maybe that's not a good thing because maybe he opens himself up for in a way who seems to have the type of pop that he could end it at any time.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Goodman, he beat TJ Doheny, so that's his best victory so far. Yeah. Richie McPran, yeah, I know him too. So he's good, yeah.
Yudis Fernandez says Cavon Gavoza looked like a 40% version of himself. How's that opponent better than Kalajic? I don't know. Hey, Gavoza, man, he was fresh. He was fresher than he'd been since that better BF fight. So I get what you're saying there. Kalajic certainly was a fresher fighter.
Yeah,
You
I
can see
think
those two
so.
face off each other.
He also had more to prove, he never won a world title or anything, but he had a really, against Marcus Brown, he was, many thought
Oh
he
yeah,
was robbed that fight, and yeah, so he looked good, but he was only destroyed by Beterbiev, of course. So that was. But
Oh yeah,
he came to fight there. Also, he came out, guns blazing. He didn't run from Beterbiev. So
no, he did not. He did not.
yeah,
So kudos in that regards for sure. Edith says the truth is both Morel and Benavidez look like crap, and that's why they want to fight each other to not fight dangerous guys in 175. Interesting, interesting. I think they began. That was their first fight at the weight. I think those are pretty
yeah,
solid contests for both of them for their first fight at 175. There, in my opinion. Now, of course, the most dangerous guys there are no doubt Better Biev and Bivol, and they're going to be a little bit tied up, especially if the decision is reversed in the matchup they have coming up. I think that will dictate things as well. But maybe there's some other 175 pounders that can make some things happen. But these two are facing each other in their second fight at the weight, so that's going to kind of clear the air a little bit. And the winner presumably would be a guy that you could see in there with the winner of Better BF Bivol 2 or whatever transpires, depending on how the outcome of the fight ends up. So, but hey, I think you have some good points there, Edith. Um, yeah, I think it could
yeah,
go.
yes,
Yeah, I think it can vary for sure. Rasclot says, better names fought, better opponents. He gave Benavidez his toughest fight to date. Yeah, it was a pretty solid fight. I do think that Gvozdyk looked pretty good in that matchup, and I think there's something to that time off that may have been of a huge benefit to him. So I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna lean that direction as well. Adam Hurley said, "Would you guys like to see Inoue move up in weight like with the big dogs at 130?" Well, he would be skipping 126, so he would probably have to go to 126 first to test the waters. But I wouldn't mind seeing him move up in weight. But that being said, if he's not going to fight Akhmadaliev, I would say. But I do kind of want him to stay there also because Junto Nakatani, he's at 118 right now, and depending on how things shake up, he could eventually see himself at 122, and we have the potential for a huge mega fight there in Inoue and Nakatani that would likely go down in Japan, unless they did some deal with the Saudis and it was in Saudi Arabia or something. But that would be, I think, a major fight right there. And what I mean by that, I'm just thinking from the standpoint of just a stylistic clash, what both of those guys bring to the table. That's what I would want to see eventually. Nakatani versus Inoue, the two countrymen going at each other. Let's see here. Richard Sanchez says, interested in hearing your thoughts on Ortiz Madrimov. Oh yeah, I think it got scrapped right there, Richard. And now it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little different, unless I'm mistaken right there. Bob, if they're still fighting Ortiz versus Madrimov, Israel Madrimov.
oh,
Oh no, it
right,
actually. Oh, the 22nd. No, you're right. So
right,
that is going down. So that is
right.
on that
Right.
Riyadh card. I guess I was thinking
For a
something.
moment,
I guess I was thinking
yeah,
a
for
little
a
bit.
moment, I thought it was Akhmadaliev, like Ortiz, where, but
Yeah.
yeah, Madrid, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I think I was mixing up because Virgil Ortiz was gonna fight Boots Ennis, or at least that was the discussion, and then it ended up being Madrimov. So no, you're right there, Richard. So yeah, that's a damn good fight right there. Damn good fight. I like Israel Madrimov. I've seen him since he's turned pro. So I've watched a number of his fights. I felt he kind of looks like Triple G at times when he's there in the ring, even though there's a little bit of a
Yeah,
slight difference to them, stylistically and all in terms of how they move about. Now, I do think that Israel Madrimov is a top level fighter, and Ortiz, I mean, that grit that he's shown, what he was able to do in that Boychuk fight in terms of overcoming that adversity. I mean, that's been a plus for him as well. And
yeah.
hey,
Even
I
though,
I think it's a damn good fight. And
yeah, even though that
yeah,
decision was controversial, but
yeah,
yeah,
it was. I think
But
it's a
it
damn
has
good.
been, he was fighting now at in Riyadh card, and he looked really good against that guy from England. Forgot his name now, but yeah, he's just a very very good fighter, and there's no shame of having to get a little disputed decision over a guy like that,
Yeah,
for Ortiz. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. So yeah, this is a good matchup. Virgil
Mm.
Ortiz, I mean, when he's on and he's aggressive, I mean, you can just feel those shots that he's throwing and landing. And
He's
he's now 154 pounder. Israel Madrimal has been at 154 pounds, and I don't know. That's a good fight right there.
yeah.
If I had to lay anything down on it, if I had to pick, then I probably lean a little bit towards Madrimov. I think that when you factor in his pedigree to include the amateur background, I mean, he's a highly skilled fighter just overall. He can move pretty well with the upper body and on his feet. And Boachuk, for instance, he doesn't move as good as Madrimov, and he gave Ortiz some trouble. So some of that could have been that length as well because Boachuk's a pretty long fighter. And yeah, I just think it's a very interesting matchup right there. One of those I'd say is kind of 50-50, but I would certainly lean a little bit towards Madrimov. I think he's a lot better than what may have met the eye in the Crawford fight, and a good win for Crawford there. But I like Israel Madrimov from when I've seen him just coming up. I've seen him fight live as well, and he's a real deal. He's a very very skilled fighter. And Ortiz, we know he won't back down, but yeah, that's just an interesting one right there. I'm glad it's on it. It is.
Yeah, I like Manuel. The way he beat Kurbano, that was really impressive. I mean, yeah, he
Oh yeah,
just got it out there, like like he was nothing to worry about.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
So,
Yeah, hey, I'm with you. Yeah, the fight is happening. The fight is happening.
yeah, I
Salute.
mean, it was supposed to happen at 160, 168. Hello, you you are late, Rodolfo. And yeah, so it doesn't really matter why. I mean, or what weight, but it's the most important thing. Bottom line is that it is happening. It has been really long awaited, and yeah, the fight that the fans want to see, really want to see.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, certainly, certainly. Salute to Rodolfo Rivera Jr. in the mix there. Appreciate you dropping by, Rodolfo. And shout out to Rasclad Edis. They're still talking about that Morel Benavidez fight. Yeah, it's a good fight for sure. Um,
Yeah, some strong emotions there.
yeah,
Strong
yeah, yeah.
words.
Hey, I think we're gonna
But
get a very good fight. But that was their first fight there. Edis, I would say that was their first fight at 175. They have to get in another one, another few fights. You know what I'm saying? I think they have to get
who
in
is
some
this?
additional matchups.
I don't
Uh,
know who this guy is.
OG Johnny Tight Lip says Madrimov getting clout because he beat a pound for pound Bud. Um, Salute there to you, OG Johnny Tight Lips. Hey, you said why don't I
Uh,
ever see you? Hey, I guess your first time in here, OG
yeah,
Johnny Tight Lips. Hey,
that's a weird
welcome,
comment.
welcome.
Well, yeah, I
Appreciate
mean,
you there.
Madden move did kind of come close to beating Crawford, I guess, but he didn't get it. So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, we're
know.
gonna have
I
a good
haven't
show.
really haven't even seen that fight, so I cannot say
Oh yeah,
if the
okay.
decision was fair or not. But yeah,
Yeah, you'll have
from what I
varying
heard,
opinions for sure.
yeah,
You would
from what I heard, it was very very close. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, certainly, certainly. So yeah, you'll have varying opinions, but that's a good matchup. Good question brought in on that.
Mm.
Real quick, looking ahead. So you got Najee Lopez taking on I think his name Leonard Castillo on Showbox or Pro Box TV, as a matter of fact, on the 24th as well. That should be a good one. Saturday, the 25th of January, you have Isaiah Pacheco taking on Steven Nelson in what is an interesting fight, pretty good fight. Just overall, I do lean Pacheco
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
Pacheco. Yeah, he's a promising young fighter. Really tall for a super middleweight, but
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
good one.
And
Yeah,
Nelson, he's undefeated. I
I'm
know
sure.
him because he used to come out in that show enough costume from the movie Bruce Leroy movie. What is it? Can't think of the name right now, but that's how I do Nelson. And Nelson, he's a little bit older, so this is hey, his toughest opponent to date. I like Pacheco for sure. OG Johnny Tightlips says, "Yeah, I like this channel. It's very underground." Hey, appreciate you there, OG Tightlips. Um,
That's what we go for.
OG Johnny Tightlips. Did anybody tell you that you look like David Choi? No, no,
Who,
no.
me? Who do you mean, me or Joshua?
Maybe it's the hair right there, something like
Oh
that.
yeah, he
But
did
then
have
Choi, he was
that.
tall, so he
I
ended up.
don't think I look like David at all. So
Yeah, for sure. The Last Dragon. Look at Rodolfo's on it. The Last Dragon. Yeah, so that's who Steven Nelson. I remember him
oh,
coming out like the guy from The Last Dragon
I
at
thought it
time.
was Enter the Dragon.
Have you seen The Last Dragon?
No, I don't think so.
You check that out there, boss. Classic. Classic.
Right.
All I'll say.
I
It's a
have seen
classic.
Enter the Dragon, so that was a
Well, you
classic
could say
also.
this is a spinoff in some sense.
Yeah.
Now, good stuff. Eddie Cruz is going to be returning as well. So I'm moving ahead. We talked Benavidez Morel. That's a WBA and WBC light heavyweight title that will be on the line. On that card, pretty decent fights on that card. You got Brandon Figueroa taking on Stephen
Oh yeah.
Fulton. And this is
Wow.
a rematch for their fight at 122 pounds, except it's going down at 126 this time. So that should be an interesting one. And we also have Pitbull Cruz taking on Angel Fierro. I think his name's Angel. That should be a very good matchup right there, action matchup. And you also
Mm.
have Jesus Ramos taking on Banana Jason Rosario on that card. So very interesting card right there for sure.
I don't know why he's still fighting. He's obviously a really washed up fighter by
Hey,
now.
yeah, he's still getting it in.
I mean,
He and
he's
Jared
only
Hurd fought earlier in this past year. He and Jared Hurd, Rosario and Jared Hurd, they went at each other. It was on Pro Box TV.
I mean, he's only got that win over
It was the
J
draw.
Rock, but
Yeah,
yeah,
certainly that's his best win right there. That
so
J Rock win. Yeah, and he didn't hold
that
the
win,
title too long. So very
yeah,
interesting.
just destroyed by Charlo and Erickson
Yeah,
Lubin,
the body
Prime
shot
and
took him
those.
out. So yeah,
Yeah,
hey, he's still fighting. Hey, maybe Ramos gets him to hang it up. I like Jesus Ramos. I think he's looked damn good in the contest that I've seen. I still need to watch that one with Erickson Lubin or Eric Lubin or whatever. And
yeah.
yeah, I think it's Erickson
So
Lubin. And supposedly it was controversial. I know leading into that contest, I thought Ramos would be a little too much for him, but I guess it was a split decision or something of that nature. So I got to double back on that one. OG Johnny Tightlip says David Benavidez versus Morel is the fight I'm excited for. Yeah, with you there. Yeah, we were chatting about that one. He says big fan of the Mexican Monster. No doubt there, OG Johnny Tightlip. We were chatting about that one a little bit earlier, and we're both on the side that yeah, we think that Benavidez, when it's all said and done, he's going to be able to get to Morel, especially as the rounds wear on, and say Morel is moving a little bit less. I think that attrition and Benavidez, that relentless pressure, hey, it might get to him. I don't know if he stops him,
yeah,
but
fresh.
certainly Benavidez, he's capable enough. And I think that pressure, as it says, burst pipes. Pressure burst pipes. Yeah, I think that's what might trouble Morel, who's a damn good fighter and will make it a contest for sure. He will
Yeah,
certainly make it a
so
contest.
also when Kalajic, when he applied pressure, I mean, he did have success. So, I mean, Benavides should do better, of course, in that respect.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Rodolfo said it was made by Motown Records. Oh wow, interesting. Spitting some sharing some good facts right there, Rodolfo. Oh no, I didn't know that. I should, but I didn't know that. Uh, yeah, fight man. So Richard Sanchez, give me a prediction, gents. I lean towards Mexican fighters, but Madrimav's style and skill too much. Okay, in relation to Madrimav versus Ortiz, yeah, I'm with you, Richard Sanchez. Yeah, I lean towards Madrimov in a contest with Virgil Ortiz. I think it's a good contest. I think it's potentially 50-50, just depending on people's thought. I think you will have many people leaning and siding with Virgil
Yeah,
Ortiz, who I think is good, very good. But yeah, I lean Richard towards Israel Madrimov. Yeah, I just think that he just at a higher level skill wise, and I don't think he'll find himself getting caught up in some of those exchanges that may benefit Virgil Ortiz. Now, Virgil Ortiz is pretty good at cutting the ring off, and he can work his way in there to get his shots, and he invests in the body as well, so he'll make it tough. But as long as Badramov sticks to his game plan, is doing his thing, I probably lean towards him. Who did you say you lean towards there, Boz?
yeah, Madrigal also because I
Oh
mean, as I said, we saw how Ortiz did struggle against Boachuk, and
yeah,
as you said, Madrimov can't do well. He's a little better at moving and boxing than
yeah,
Bohachuk is, and yeah, the way he throws punches were pretty unorthodox too. So
oh
he's
yeah,
pretty that can enables him to land, sometimes without take his opponents by surprise and stuff. So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
I'm with you
think it will
there.
be very hard for Ortiz to win this fight. I mean, unless, again, I hope we'll not see another bad decision, But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, that's the way he can win, of course,
Yeah,
always. But
shout out to those guys for making it happen for sure. Ortiz, hey,
yeah,
he's about to smoke, so he seemed to be ready for any competition there. So I'll give him props in that regard. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more.
yeah,
And salute to the Sunday morning boxing boys. Appreciate you there, Bruce Gas. Be sure to check him out, folks. Bruce Gas, Boxing and Jazz. A lot of good, interesting content on that channel. And he does quizzes as well, especially if you're into the boxing history, which, of course, I think all of us are. So be sure to check him out there. Bruce Gas. Richard says, oh, yeah, he leans towards Madrigal. Same here. I'm excited for Benavidez Morel too, says Rascliffe. Yep, yeah, interesting. Both of those are very interesting contests. Real quick, we have about, so I would say, give or take 7 minutes. We're not going to go over pretty much every fight, but to finish things off, I want to talk about that big card. So I'm calling the card of the century or the greatest full fight card ever, which is that Riyadh season card that is topped by Beterbiev versus Bivol in their rematch for undisputed supremacy at 175. Now, I'll just rattle off. You got Beterbiev, Bivol, you have Dubois, Parker, Ortiz, Madrimov, which we just discussed, Stevenson, Schofield, excuse me, Adamits versus Shiraz, crazy.
oh wow,
Guatsi
that's
Smith and Jane Kayabel, crazy.
Caballero.
Yeah, Caballero, excuse me.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be one hell of a card.
Amazing.
Actually, I was drawn. When I bought the pay per view for Usyk Fury 2, I became eligible with that way to be drawn for 2 tickets for that fight,
Oh,
and
yeah.
of course the plane tickets and hotel and all that. So
Hey,
if
if
I
you
get
win, hey,
lucky,
I'm going with you. Let's go.
yeah, if I get lucky, you're going with me. Then yeah, definitely to Riyadh. It's pretty hot there. I
Good
imagine
stuff.
always.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing one. That's a
Yeah,
absolutely insane card right there. I mean, from
yeah.
top to bottom, every fight is a fight worth checking out for sure.
That would be
Uh,
some amazing coverage as well.
Oh, yeah. Richard Sanchez says, thank you, gentlemen. Signing off here. 86 boxing remain the standard in boxing history content. Hey, appreciate you there, Richard. Truly appreciate it. 100% there. No, love the history. So more stuff coming in that regard for sure. No, appreciate you there, Richard. Anyone to Madrigal for the last name? is dangerous, says Ratclot. LOL. No doubt about it. Master them off. So yeah,
The
cool.
dream.
So real quick there, guys. Who do you like? Better VF Vivo 2. What do you think?
Oh yeah. I don't know, man. Of
I
course,
know it's
once
a tough
again,
one.
I think I would favor Bivol, but I think also because Beterbiev is older now and older of the two, and I don't know really, but Bivol will be looking to avenge that loss, which was I thought was unfair anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, I'm with you there. 50-50 fight here, folks. This is a
yeah,
50-50 fight. You can flip a coin for the winner, essentially. I'm still going to lean Bivol as well, like I did last time around. And I know there was a lot of chatter and all that stuff. Some saying robbery, things of that nature. I don't think it was a robbery. I did lean towards Bivol. I thought he got it by 2 rounds, in terms of my scoring and all of that stuff. But there were cases you can make for better Biev as well. So very interesting 50-50 matchup right there. And I think this contest is probably going to look similar, probably going
yeah,
to look a little bit
probably
similar.
yeah.
Maybe
But
we'll get a little bit
Bivol, I
more
think
aggression from Bivol, but we'll see.
yeah. Now that Bivol knows he that Beterbiev probably can't knock him out, I think he'll be a little more active because what really uh, how do you say lost the fight or the reason why he lost on points was that he kind of took it a little too cautiously, too easily in some of those
Yeah.
rounds, and didn't go all out, didn't do as much as he could have. But so this time he knows he what he should do, simply to be more active throughout the fight. Yeah,
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah, and I think we'll see that on display for sure. Now,
mm,
the fight I see listed second here, which may be the co-main event, and I think an IBF title will be on the line because I think Daniel Dubois has the IBF title, but Dubois will be taking
yeah,
on Joseph Parker in what is a very good
oh,
heavyweight matchup. Both of these guys lost to Joe Joyce, interestingly, and now they're facing off against each other. Both of them with a lot of momentum behind them. Dubois,
yeah,
of course, knocking out Anthony Joshua. Parker, he's been on the uptick. He's beat
he's
beat Deontay Wilder,
done very
and
well. Like, yeah, Sean,
oh yeah, John
a
Jalay.
big
Yeah,
surprise.
big
Everybody,
pain. So he had him, and he was
yeah,
winning in that cut. I think he was winning in that contest with Joe Joyce, from what I had saw and recall from
yeah,
watching it, or he was close to. Yeah, I think he was winning it, but Joyce just kept coming. So this is a very good matchup right there, and
yeah.
stylistically, yeah. Mm,
I know some people are saying don't look past Parker, and
yeah,
well, I don't think Dubois is, but right now Dubois is really on a tear, as they say. He's on looking very confident and at his best now. I think he has learned a lot from those two losses, and yeah, especially to Usyk, and yeah,
oh yeah.
I favor him to win, of course, but will that be by a knockout or
Oh, you favor
decision?
Triple D, huh?
Yeah,
Dynamite.
so, that's right.
All right.
But Parker can always make it hard. Yeah, for sure. Why not? He can make it a hard fight. So
Yeah,
yeah,
certainly. No, that's what's up right
hopefully,
there.
hopefully, we don't want to
Yeah,
see an easy one-sided 3-round destruction or something or
yeah.
five as he did
It needs
to
to be a good
Joshua.
contest. Certainly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's
that certainly Dubois' stock has risen. I'm sure he's going to be very confident coming off of this win with Anthony Joshua. Rasclot said he has Bivol
that's
winning, and then he said he has Parker as well. So,
that's the thing.
like you, Rasclot, I might be leaning a little bit towards Joseph Parker in that contest with Dubois, but I like both of them. I think the power might be on the side
It's
of Dubois.
There's a big
And
difference between Wilder and Zhang and Dubois. That's the thing. I think
yeah,
people
yeah,
are maybe giving Parker too much chance because of those fights, but Dubois is not Zhang. He's not so slow, or he's not
yeah,
that old either. So I mean, he's just a wrecking machine, a wrecking ball, and I don't
yeah.
see Parker really being able to to top him now. Anyway, maybe 2 years ago, yeah, probably he could have, but
Yeah,
now, as you said,
you
Dubois
might be
has
on
gained more confidence. That's very important, also. Yeah,
Yeah, thinking about it, yeah, you might be on to something there, Boz. I think, yeah, my
yeah.
opinion could change, could be
Mm,
swayed. I feel where you're coming from right there. Parker has been on a pretty solid run, but you're right. Dubois seems to be in his prime, and he's on that upward trajectory at this very stage. So that does make it interesting right there.
well,
My opinion might change as time goes on here.
yeah, you see, Rascal says that Dubois fought 3 stationary fighters. That's true, but I still think, for instance, Hrgovic, he was. I mean, you saw that he was doing well at first 4 or 5 rounds. Hrgovic was really, very aggressive, landing shots. But then Dubois just came back, and he cut him up badly and stuff. So and
Yeah,
Joshua, well, Joshua might not be the same Joshua he was, but still, he can always be dangerous, potentially dangerous. So
yeah,
yeah,
that is true. That is true. And yeah, that was a good fight. I mean, if we get anything close to just even that fight, for instance, in terms of
hmm.
excitement and drama, then hey, I'm all for it. So I'm with that. Bruce Gas mentions I like the upcoming Chisora versus Valine fight.
Oh,
Means nothing in the big
Sora, I
picture,
was
but
wondering
it
chorizo.
should be exciting. I think the
Who's
fight culture
chorizo?
said something about like the last something or whatever, insinuating that this is Chisora's last fight or something like that
Well,
potentially.
it would be about time.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
like,
that should be an interesting one there, Bruce. Hopefully they come out gunning, both of them, especially
yeah,
Chisora. If this is your last one, hey, go out with a bang. Go out with a bang. Raspot says you're
yeah,
correct about Dubois. Honestly, Dubois definitely can win because he's a fast puncher.
yeah.
Zhang and Joyce, yeah, they were slow. Yeah, definitely there, Raspot.
Yeah, Zhang was really slow and wasn't really. He didn't fight the right way against Parker. That was not a good strategy he had. I don't know if he even had any strategy, but
Yeah, right, right. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe not. So it should be interesting, and we'll be talking about this car even more. But lastly on it, just real quick, your thoughts there, Boz. Jang Caballero, interesting.
wow, interesting fight. Yeah, but problem is for Cabello, he won his last 2 fights, which were his, of course, most important victories by body punching, and well, Sanchez did get injured also, but yeah,
Yeah,
anyway, I mean, he's a great body puncher, Caballero, but this time he's fighting really a monster, so it's not going to be as easy, as against
yeah.
what's his name, that guy from Russia, the big guy.
Oh yeah, Makhmudov.
Yeah, Makhmudov, that was just wow, like, how could he just put tear him apart so easy? But I don't think Zhang is gonna. It's not gonna work quite the same with Zhang. So, but I still think Kabail has a good chance to win because of
Yeah,
Zhang being so slow, and stuff. So unless Zhang lands the right punches, or punch to knock him out, then probably Cabell will take it down the distance, probably win on points, I would say. Yeah, because of Zhang's chin, he's got a tremendous chin.
yeah. Pretty solid
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Rasclot says Dubois is my fighter of the year for 2024. Good stuff there, Rasclot. Yeah, hey, yeah, he deserve some of that billing. He had a good year.
yeah,
I'm with
really.
you there, Boz. I think another great. It was a you could say great year for Caballero. It's like, hey, he really got his name out there. I don't think he was
Mm,
really on the radar for a lot of people, but he got some
no,
wins that made you take notice for sure. You're like, hold on, this
yeah.
guy right here is one to watch. So,
I did
uh,
think people were sleeping on him. I did, and now he proved that. Yeah, they were definitely.
yeah, so I might have to go with you there, Boz. I think, yeah, certainly if it goes the distance, I will have thought that Caballero may have been able to put in a little bit more work than Jang. Uh,
Mm.
we know both of them can go the distance and get victory. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'd like to see if I think that if Caballero invests in the body the same way he did with Madrimal, man, that would make it interesting for Jang and can really slow some things down for sure. And I will say that Madrimov, or not Madrimov, but Makhmadov, skill wise, he's lacking, and I think that is showing here as time goes on. But that
Yeah,
means
he
get
is. Yeah,
skilled, and that's going to make it interesting for Caballero because Jang, of course, will be the bigger fighter, bigger puncher, has a crazy good snapping left that he throws out there, set things up, and
yeah,
yeah, make it interesting. But I do like Caballero. I want to see Caballero continue to do his thing, regardless of the outcome.
yeah. He is still unbeaten, so we'll see. I mean, if he wins this, then he is on for the big one, the world title fight.
Right. Certainly if he pulls this one off, which
Mm.
yeah, I think more people are probably gonna be leaning towards Jang. But if Caballero pulls this off, hey, get that man in line for a title shot. Get him
Yeah,
ready. You know what I'm saying?
he
It'll
would.
be
He,
interesting.
yeah, he deserves it.
Certainly. And Edith says Caballero's a body snatcher. I got him winning that fight via KO. Good stuff there. Hey, could
Yeah,
happen. It certainly
he
could
can
happen.
do that, but yeah, of course, Sean is such a strong, big guy, man. It's, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
never know. Yeah,
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, we'll be tuned in, folks. Yeah, as mentioned, there are more fights on that card. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up. So we'll be talking about them even more as time goes on. Of course, as mentioned at the top, the big fight coming up, Jaya Pataya, David Nyika, and that's going down in Australia. So timing wise,
yeah,
especially if you're here in the US, it's gonna be very early in the morning. For you, Boz, it might
mm.
be more around the afternoon, huh, or something like that, right? Or
Well, probably late evening. I
a
don't
little bit
know.
later or something like
Or
that.
no, just a minute. Yeah, it would be like yeah around noon. Yeah, no, I got it right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah. So yeah, it'll be
because
more
they
of
are.
that. So
I think
depending
they
on
are
where
like
you are,
10 hours ahead of us here.
yeah,
Something that's 12.
good to
I don't.
go.
Yeah,
So yeah, World Cruiserweight title fight. There's the IBF title, I believe, or there's a cruiserweight title on the line.
yeah,
So hey, if you check
IBS.
it
Yeah,
out, okay, IBF. So hey, check it out if you can, folks. I want to try and check it out there. Depends on that timing. If I'm up that early to check it out, but I'm
yeah,
definitely gonna watch the replay if I'm not able to catch it live, which of course I like to catch it live. So, but
yeah.
we'll talk about it. So we'll have some things to chat about even more as 2025 kicks off its slate. So with that, we appreciate everyone who dropped by. It's been a great conversation, of course, and we'll continue to keep it coming. And more history is on the way. Boxing is history. Cheers, folks. Out of here, Boxing Chit.
Cheers.